guys had a chance to practice at Arrowhead over the weekend. Just what was that like?
Yeah, it was. I think it was really good for us to get over there. I think our guys were even more excited about it. Just busing an hour to go practice is something unique and different. But we were able to work all phases of the kicking game there. Try to get a feel for it. It was a good and productive day. So it makes it even more exciting to get there eventually.
Depth chart, you have Bryce listed as a starting center. I was just wondering what went into that decision. What impressed you about him?
Both he and Shane. Shane and I thought Shane and Daryl Simmons up front were two. Vastly improved. I think I said that before of where they were in the spring, their bodies, strength, all that stuff. But again, Bryce kept coming on and has good command of what we're doing offensively, and right now that's a decision. I can see Shane getting reps and doing things as we play in the game, whether it be Bryce taking some time at guard or just rotating there. It's not a position you rotate a ton, but I think we have answered the question of having a couple guys that can play there and play winning football for us. And hopefully that affords us the opportunity to leave Michael Ford at guard, where it's his natural position.
Two freshmen and DJ and Jalen on the depth chart as well. What do they do to earn that from you guys?
Well, again, they've practiced extremely well. Their consistency, DJ will definitely help us in speed and pass rush situations. We continue to work. He knows he has to continue to get stronger and bigger. But he's worked extremely hard. He's extremely coachable and really cares. And so does Jalen. You can tell that the game's important to him. And when it is, the extra time that it takes in there, and I think we've talked about Jalen Todd in here already from the time he got here in January to what he is now. And he's put himself in a position to both those guys to contribute and play, and they'll be on special teams as well.
Lance, last year, a few times you talked about Jason Bean and how you root for a guy like that a little bit more. In that same context, I wonder what kind of goes into that with Jalen Daniels and just kind of his position, and he's back now and all of that.
You guys talked to Jalen yesterday. I actually brought him in before and said, how much of this you want to do? Okay. And what days you want to do it, and then when do you want to shut it down? Because I know it can be a lot for him. We were talking, but as we wrapped up our conversation, I just told him how proud of him I was and how happy I was that he's in this position again, and to see him happy and how hard he's worked to get back. And I'm excited to see him Thursday night, just like our fans and everyone else is, because like I said with Jason, he deserves it, and we know what kind of guy he is, it's I'm really happy for him. He can be selfishly happy and it's better for the team and all that, but this is one that probably means more in a lot of different ways, that he has a chance to come out, because as we know, people get caught up in speculation and rumors, and to see the young man stay who he is and true and work hard and persevere after everything, it's I know I'm going to feel really good watching him take that first snap.
I also wanted to ask you, a couple of your guys who were in here yesterday talked about sort of, the tone setting that happens this week and on Thursday night being maybe different than in the past. When you first got here, I think it was Lawrence who told me, hey, when you first got here, it was fourth quarter. We want to be in the game, and it's a totally different mindset now. Are you happy about that, obviously?
Yeah, they understand expectations, but I think this group and guys like Lawrence, they understand, though, you got to go out and play yet, and that's the thing. And you watch some of these games and over the weekend, there weren't a lot of them, but, there's some strange stuff that have happened in them all, and there's things about discipline and composure and not beating yourself and all those things that you got to make sure. But Yeah, it's a different mindset because of so many guys went through that game that we had to fight through to get. And, you know, even as we've had scouts come through and do things, and they talk about how our team looks different. You know, I told everyone that, you know, we might have been 2-10 that first year, but we might have been 0-12 on the eyeball test in pregame warmups, you know, and that included South Dakota. We look different. We move different. We play differently, and that's what a process should be about, and we have to make sure we continue in that realm of no matter who we're playing, what level they come from, where it's at, it's still going to be about us and execution and being fluid and being sharp and playing discipline and doing all those things if we're going to have chance at all, and it starts Thursday night.
Especially with it being a Thursday game, how do you think the guys have adapted to switching from the camp mindset into the game?
Well, you know, when you're in camp, you don't even know what day of the week it is 90% of the time. So I could tell them we're playing Tuesday, and it probably wouldn't matter. You know, it's hard to, you know, in our daily lives to kind of go in that mode, and then you come in here and we're practicing in 4-day segments and days off. It really kind of throws off your routine. You know, I've been a big proponent, and administratively, we've worked together to try to create these early weekday games for different reasons. You can report a little earlier sometimes. You're not in such, you know, we haven't taken advantage of both days for various reasons. But, you know, then you have a little time in between the first one and the second one and different things like that. So I'm big on it when it can play out like this. And, you know, and then partially, really what you do is once you find out your first game, you build your calendar backwards. And so once you get into that of what your day one prep is for game one, day two, they've adapted really well. Now school starts today. Now, you know, we'll see. Tomorrow's going to be really important on how we come into the day. After, you know, sometimes, you know, especially when you're an afternoon practice team, it's usually your toughest practices is those first couple days of school. It's just a different set of things going on. And hopefully we have enough experience and maturity to go about our business in the right way and then get ourselves, you know, ready for the walkthrough and going Thursday night.
And then I understand that you and the Lindenwood coach go back a while to when you were D2. Just
Yeah,
what do you know about him?
yeah, he was at Augie in some places, and knowing him, had great respect for him and what he's doing. I think what he's getting to do is transition a team from Division II to FCS and go through it. It would be something that is pretty fun and challenging. And you know, we've been able to go to their camp there in St. Louis, you know, we travel the country, as you guys know, to a decent amount of camps, and they run as well of organized camp in a confined area as anybody in the country. And if that's the direction, and I know it is from the head coach down, you know that's the way the program's going to be run, and he's going to continue to build it. And when in fact, it was at that camp, you know, I floated the idea of getting some games. He definitely was interested, and I appreciate him. I have great respect for what he does.
There's a new rule where you guys can have the tablets on the sideline. I know you guys got to do some of that in the bowl game. Are you able to do much of that during camp, and how do you feel like that bowl experience can help you guys hit the ground running?
We had it during camp, but you know, sometimes the way it's set up, you're set up, you're going against each other. So the way it was, but the bowl game was definitely a big plus for those that were there for it, especially in our analyst room has changed quite a bit, but it'll definitely be a benefit to everyone and both sides of the ball. So, yeah, looking forward to that. And then, of course, coach-to-player communication. And a couple other things will be changing is continue changing college football, and I think those will be for the better.
You got Cornell Wheeler as the starter at Mike. Just how do you feel like he stepped into being the guy at that position?
Yeah, I think he's done an excellent job. I'm really proud of Cornell. You know, it's been kind of an up and down kind of road for him and how it's gone health-wise sometimes. But, you know, I know probably when he transferred here, you know, through the guys that he knew, mainly Rich and stuff, I'm sure he had probably aspirations that some of this would have triggered for him a little sooner. But again, Cornell's never been in my office with a questioning why he's not playing more, what's happened, anything of that nature, or doubt that he should be a Jayhawk in that, and to see him, step into this role, now be voted as a captain by his teammates, I think really says a lot about him. And, probably before it, but if you remember, like the interception he had at Texas last year, he made a big time play, and it was just starting to show some of the things. And in plays like that, I think really started to propel his confidence and see it. I was, very comfortable in the fact that where Cornell would be for us in there. Like I say, he and J.B. Brown, the steps they've taken, I'd like to think, they got to go out and do it on game day, but our linebackers are playing, I think, different than maybe we have in the past few years.
I noticed Calvin wasn't on the two deep, and I know he's still recovering kind of from that injury. What are you hoping to see out of him?
Yeah, he, through the rehab and everything, it just slowed him down. He's right on the fringe of it. This time I tried to make a little decision on this to not list 75 guys. I might do it to you guys next week, but this one I just, but he's right on the cusp, and he's there, and we feel, our training staff feels, I think Daryl feels, and Jeff, that by the minimum, by the end of non-conference games, if not sooner, he's gonna be right in that mix with some guys, and that's really a credit to the guys that have practiced, and and the time that he missed and things. He's just playing a little catch up. And he's also getting that confidence back as well as movements and stuff. But he's definitely shown the signs, and there's no doubt that we're excited about what Kelvin's going to give our program yet.
One guy stood out on the depth chart, Tabor Allen, winning the jobs there.
It's good notice there. He won it, and it's kind of one of those things. Tabor's personality, a little reserved, and all that. And partway through the spring, all of a sudden you start noticing, dang, he's pretty consistent. And you kind of start looking at some stuff. And we got into camp, and it was about 2 cycles through, and he started to show it. And we kind of still left the competition there. Charlie and Owen were solid, but when you really looked at it, the most consistent and from distances was Tabor Allen. And again, we haven't done that because Tabor is handling those kickoff duties and someone else there. But it's, one time I asked him, I go, do you want both jobs? And he's like, of course I do, and stuff. So excited about that. And, I feel good, as good as probably we've been as far as experience and guys that I feel depth-wise at that position as well. So I don't want it to be you miss a kick and you get yanked and stuff like that, but it's going to be a matter of continued consistency throughout that, because I think that group is talented enough.
And another name that caught my attention there, Jason Gilliam. Looks like he had a good camp and won that spot.
Yeah, I mean, we're going through some things with, and for Jason to be there because, the move was made to get a little bit more of a safety body, when he made the move there, and a guy that's played out in space and done those things. I feel that what that does with, as I'm looking here with Taiwan, it gives him a chance to be he can play so many different spots there. It gives us a little more mixing and matching, and depending on what we're playing against and personnel groupings. Alex Reich was slowed with an ankle in spring. This is the healthiest Jason has been. I mean, that's another guy. We talked a lot about Jalen, of course. Jason's battled some injuries that is really where a lot of people might not even wanted to come back. And, and well respected in the locker room, a great young man on and off the field, and really happy for him.
This is on the field. What have you seen from Lindenwood in the film you've
Yeah,
watched?
you never, again, they got an outstanding wide receiver. They got a lot of returners through this transition. The thing is that you never know what, those programs don't get as covered by as many of you, and you just don't know all the additional pieces that might be there and how they fit and how they elevate their game. So that's going to be interesting. I always say this in games, just like the last couple of years, is we got to focus on us, and because obviously the first game you don't know what other tweaks and other things they do offensively or defensively. Get a feel early in the game for how they're going to try to attack us and defend us, and make sure that we don't give up anything big, and we. You make sure we take care of the ball and keep ourselves in the right down and distance, and we got to sit there. I know they'll come in here and play hard. Okay, these matchups can be such that it's a big opportunity for them. So we've got to make sure that whatever emotion or enthusiasm they have, we can try to stymie that as early as possible.
With all the excitement going on, are you looking forward to seeing how many students hop on the buses?
Yeah, I've had a chance. A couple fraternities asked me to speak. I got another one today. I kind of talk. It sounds like they got some good plans. So, I think it's a chance for. I think that's going to be a question across the board. Is what kind of turnouts they're going to be at these games, and whether it be weather too hot, or if it's going to rain, or if it's too far, or who the opponent is. We can look at a lot of different things. I just hope that our fan base, students and others alike, that everybody. I think there's a guy, Brian Haney. He always kind of says one of the most anticipated seasons in a long time. If that is true, I think our fans will show up to see this group play, and I sure hope that they do. And no matter what it is, and I think it'll be a heck of an environment.
How do you balance wanting to run your stuff and get guys, comfortable with what they're doing in sort of a live fire environment versus also potentially holding some things back for later?
We're not planning on holding anything back. We're going to play to win the football game. We're game planning on both sides to win the football game. I don't think we're in a program yet that we can, somebody talked about a SEC school that was practicing, spent the 2 weeks before practicing for a big non-conference game, and then was going to, then just the week of, trying to get the extra week. I don't think, same thing, especially with our new staff additions and things like that, Jalen getting back in the groove. We want to make sure that we come out and start this thing the right way. Good. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.